Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to our latest webinar. Today we're talking all things lettings again with our resident expert, Carol.
Hi Nick.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. You?
Yeah, good. Good. And surprise, today we're talking about something that requires or new legislation which has come in to give something for landlords to think about, a fresh problem, I think is fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
But obviously the idea is just to provide you with some information and just update you to what you need to do. And I think today we're mainly talking around smoke alarms, aren't we, Carol?
And carbon monoxide, yeah.
Carbon monoxide. So do you want to just tell the viewers a brief sort of oversight as to what's coming in, what's changing, and basically what people should be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's draft legislation out at the minute for amendments to smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, both in England and in Wales, because they are different. From the 1st of October in England, it's proposed that the new regulations are going to be that you are going to have a smoke alarm on each floor, as we do at the minute in England. Yeah. At the moment, it's recommended that we have carbon monoxide, and you must have them where you've got solid fuel at the minute.
Okay.
It's going to change. The new legislation is saying that what's going to happen is that you will have to have a carbon monoxide, and you'll have to have it in every room where you're burning fuel, where you're burning combustibles.
Yeah.
So that means that if you have a boiler in a bedroom, or if you have it in a bathroom, or you have it in an attic or an airing cupboard, you're going to have a carbon monoxide with it.
And I suppose more and more people now are having wood-burning stoves, for example.
Exactly. Well, you would have to have one with that anyway at the minute. But it's only recommended where boilers or cookers or gas fires were. Right, it's only at the minute recommended.
And that's changing.
It's changing to it's compulsory.
Right.
It's regulation that you've got a gas fire, you've got a boiler, whichever room it's in, you have to have it. Okay. It's in Wales. I know we don't do a lot of dealing in Wales, but we still may have landlords that work and have properties in Wales. It's changing on the 1st of December. But at the minute in Wales, they don't have to have carbon monoxide or smoke alarms on each floor in a property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's quite, it is strange.
Yeah.
But that's changing on the 1st of December. They're having to do the same as us,
right.
But they're going to have to go a step further. Their new rule is going to be that they must have smoke alarms that are hardwired.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So at the moment, it's saying that in England, we can still use battery operated.
Right.
But Wales are not going to be able to. Now, they've still got time to change this draft.
Okay.
And they could change it to make ours hardwired.
That's a
lot of cost. And industry experts are kind of predicting they're not going to change it.
Okay.
But there's still a small possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, it's interesting that you're saying it's just recommended at the moment. I mean, out of most of the properties that we manage, would you say most of the landlords have already are up to speed with this, or do you think there's going to be a lot of people that are having to?
A lot of our landlords from the properties we manage, or even our let-only properties, which are very few, but even those, I will always highly recommend that you get a carbon monoxide, because my stance with them has been it's going to come in. So why not do it now? And why not do it and get one that has got the long, the 10-year, the 7-year battery in it? It can't be accessed for them to take the battery out, and it's the same with the smoke alarms.
So that was my sort of, when I really first said that, my sort of hunch would be that I think most of our clients are probably already there. But anybody watching this that maybe manages their own properties or or is with someone else and isn't sure, it's just worth double checking all that, isn't it? And when does this come in, Carol?
1st of October in England.
Right. Okay.
And the 1st of December in Wales.
Yeah. So it will soon come round, right?
Yeah. You'll blink and it'll be there. There's lots of things changing with it as well, Nick, in looking at the responsibility of the smoke alarms. Most tenancy agreements will turn around and say, it should be in there that it's the tenant's responsibility to
Right.
change the batteries. That's when you're putting in the little double A's or whatever you're putting in. And I suggest to all the landlords that I talk to, or the landlords that we manage their properties, put in your 10-year sealed units, your 7 or 10-year batteries. And then you've not got to rely on the tenant changing it.
Yeah,
because there's another thing that they're going to be looking at is how accessible are those smoke alarms for that tenant to change the batteries.
Yeah, a lot of Victorian, Edwardian properties.
High ceilings.
High, aren't they?
An example is if you've got a smoke alarm in the downstairs somewhere, and you've got, like you're talking about, a high ceiling, or it's above a stairwell, so it's really high, 7-8 foot, you're having to rely on that tenant going out and buying an 8-foot, 9-foot ladder.
Yeah.
Would a court accept that you made that smoke alarm accessible?
Yeah, it's borderline, isn't it? You just want to take all of that out.
You need to take all that risk away.
Yeah.
And put them on a wall or somewhere where they can literally stand on a 2 or 3 run ladder and be able to get at it. The other thing is the responsibility of the landlord for making sure those alarms are working and serviceable. And smoke alarms are a little bit like yogurt. They've got an end of life date. And you need to be checking when those end of life dates are, because even if that smoke alarm is still working,
if it's
past the sell by date, so to speak, you have a fire in that property, how are the courts going to look? Well, that alarm really isn't serviceable because it's past its sell by date.
Yeah, these are all things that, I mean, we hope, and I'm sure for most, we don't like scaring people. I mean, hopefully this doesn't happen, but if there was the worst to happen and one of your investment properties has a fire, then you just need to be ahead of the curve on this. And I think, to be fair, a lot of the changes make a lot of sense, don't they?
Absolutely, for the safety of the tenants and for the protection of the landlord.
Yeah, I know sometimes I grumble about all the changes in the law and stuff, but sometimes you think, well, actually, no, they make sense. And I think this is definitely one of those. I think the hardwiring would be very scary for a lot of landlords, particularly if you've got older properties and you've got to start, doing major wiring. That's going to be expensive and also disruptive to the tenants, isn't it? But if we're not at that point, I think a lot of this stuff should hopefully be almost common sense.
Well, definitely the alarms, a smoke alarm on each floor in a property. All landlords should have that, whether they're managed, whether they self-manage, they should already have them because that is part of the regulations. What is going to be the next stage is it accessible if it breaks or if it's not working, besides it being the battery? The landlord is now fully responsible for going in and repairing or replacing, not down to the tenant. So when smoke alarms would go off normally or they'd stop working, and the landlord said, well, you'd get your own smoke alarm. That's not how it's going to be now. The only thing a tenant will be responsible for is changing the battery. But if you've got smoke alarms fitted where they're sealed units and they've got the 7 or 10-year lithium batteries in them, once it goes, it's the end of its life anyway, so it's going to need changing. And
it's easier then, isn't it? To
much
track
easier.
What's
much easier. And the other thing about not changing it when it's come to its end of life, should there be a fire, besides the issues or the danger you might put your tenant in, how do you think your insurance company is going to build you a new house if you've got an out-of-date smoke alarm?
Yeah, that's it.
For the sake of £20 in replacing it?
Yeah. Now that's why it's so important that you're on the right side of these regulations and you sort of get everything sorted. But I think there's a fair bit of information there, Carol, but just sort of to summarise, October, I mean, talking about England at the moment, October, the regulations come in. The key points, it's got to be accessible and they've got to be, and as you say, not past the sell by date. I think that's a good way of putting it, in working order. And I think for anyone that has properties, they've got any concerns around this at all, just please give you a call, Carol. I think you're the best person.
And the carbon monoxide, really important. It's got to be in every room.
Yeah, yeah, that's really important. But I think that's where we'll wrap that there. Obviously, if there are any questions, please feel free to get in touch with either myself or Carol.
Yeah.
And we'd be happy to have a chat. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.